Ready. Hey, well-read baddies. Welcome back to another episode of She Well Read. I'm Alana.
I'm Samra.
I also just realized we're matching again.
We love the fall tone.
We do. Listen, this fall I said brown. Brown and nudes.
Yeah.
That color
I love
palette.
a brown.
I love a brown. Brown.
So good.
And on brown skin, on melanin.
Brown skin.
Girl.
She mentions that song in here.
Who?
Phoebe. She mentioned India
Ari. I was like, did she? You're right, India Ari. I literally in this essay. Okay, shout out corner. Follow us everywhere at She Will Read. Subscribe to our YouTube. Leave comments. And also support us through our affiliate links and partner discounts. They are now gift cards at Bookshop. They didn't have them before.
Really?
Yeah, so now you can get somebody a Bookshop gift card.
Aw, wait. That's fire.
Right, and with the holidays coming, not this being a low-key ad, but...
That's the only gift card I would really do, I think.
Like gift cards, like in general?
Yeah, because I mean, I'm not big on gift cards. I do like receiving them, but I like never give them, really.
I got you.
But I could see myself doing a bookshop
A
one.
Bookshop gift card?
It feels good.
Yeah. Period. Okay. So yeah, give your favorite book reader a Bookshop gift card. And use our link to buy said book. So then we get a percentage and everybody's happy! Everybody wins!
Merry Christmas.
And to all a good night. Okay, coffee break. This first one's you. And I said, I don't know what this is.
Okay. I've never used this before, but it's called Z Library.
Okay.
I meant to do more research before I got on here and talked about it.
All right.
But here we
Disclaimer.
are. So Z Library got shut down because somebody on TikTok made it blow up and go viral. And apparently you could listen to free audiobooks on there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was like this like low-key, people knew about it, but like not that many people knew about it.
Yeah.
So some young person was like, well, I'm just going to share this because, you know, I
Not
feel
gatekeeping.
like we love to not gatekeep as a Gen Z.
Yeah.
But then the website got literally shut down and isn't coming back. Because
Wait, was it like 1, 2, 3 movies or something?
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
'Cause it was illegal.
It was a little bit illegal. But it just made me think about like something should be gatekeeped. Because like they're doing a good service in a way.
Yeah.
It's just kind of Robin Hood-ish.
There you go. That's
You
a
know?
good way to look at it. I could get behind
Because
that.
not everyone, like if you're a student, maybe you can't afford to buy every single audiobook or rent it or, you know what I mean?
But then my argument would be libraries are free.
Yeah, you could rent it from the library. But,
Like literally when you were talking about this, it was like, oh, the Libby app.
yeah.
Where it's literally the
Except
same
I
thing.
guess not.
Except I guess not.
Yeah.
Illegal.
No, yeah.
The illegal Libby app.
It was illegal. It was the black market audiobook situation. So anyway, it got shut down. So please use our Libro FM affiliate link to get your first free audiobook on us.
I think you get like 2 of them actually.
Oh,
You have
yeah.
to, well, okay, it's not on
We don't
us.
have to talk about that.
Disclaimer alert. You have to buy the membership for $14.99 a month. But then you get credits, I believe, for 2 audiobooks. So,
Okay.
you know, kind of balances it out at that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
I feel like it's fair. I think. But also look
think
into
so.
Libby if you're interested in like
Right.
renting audiobooks. But I guess
Yeah.
if you want to keep the audiobook,
Yeah.
it's like that's probably what Z Library was doing.
Probably.
Like
that was
letting
probably
you
the
keep
difference.
it. So
We
yeah.
hate to see it.
R.I.P. Z Library.
I wanted to talk.
Oh.
Sorry. Go
Go
ahead.
up. I was just gonna say Twitter was upset.
As they are.
I was like, I didn't even know this
You're
existed.
like, I missed the whole wave, the whole thing. You caught the
Exactly.
after wave.
I didn't even get the viral part. I caught it on the. Anyway, go on.
I was just gonna talk about the midterm elections, just like really fast,
As you should.
nothing too deep,
Okay.
but only because
Why? Ooh.
I saw a report that about 80 million Americans did not vote in the midterms.
Yeah, I've been seeing some statistics.
It was just the number for me.
It was a lot, and a lot of people were registered.
Right.
So it's kind of funny.
It's like a twofold thing. It's like I'm upset for many different reasons.
Yeah.
One, because there's like institutional reasons for that, where it's like, if you think about it, you only have that one day to go do it from 7 to 7. Well, here it's 7 to 7, but other places it's different times. But like, you still have to go to work. It's the middle of the week. Yeah. Like with people with kids and like all these other things that I think about, I'm like, oh, well, like I can understand. It's like you have to get up early. You can't make it to, and you can't wait in those lines and all the things. So it's like understandable, but it's also like, okay, well, let's make this more accessible, because it's such a foundational thing where you're like, no shit. Like, why do we have voting for 2 days? Yeah. Or make it to where,
or
like,
on the freaking weekend,
or it's a federal holiday, so then more people are off.
For sure it needs to be, but it also should be paid too.
Right, a paid federal holiday.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
because it's our democracy, which we're supposedly built on.
Supposedly.
So why
and it's
isn't
supposedly
that taken
equal
seriously?
and fair?
Because if it's not taken seriously from the top, then like,
why should we take it seriously?
Yeah, it's like, anyway, it was just sad to see the people that lost and that put in a lot of work, especially in like Georgia and Texas. Yeah, because I was hoping we could flip the states.
But and I'm not going to get on to all of the analytics, even though, oh my gosh, I think he's on MSNBC. Steve Kornacki?
No.
Oh my, he only comes around during elections. And he's like the data guy. Ooh. He's like got the board. He's got the numbers, the percent.
Not the graphs.
I love it's called like the Kornacki cam. I love him. He gets me so excited when it's election time. I like purposely watch just for him.
That's hilarious. He
so,
came in and he was like, "Look, this is what we got."
So shout out to Steve Kornacki. I love you.
Hey, Steve.
Yes, but and like, by the time this airs, there still probably will be a lot of races that are uncalled or too close to call.
About that, but yeah,
they were like, it could take weeks or months for us to find out, because it was just an overwhelming amount of, which is good. It's an overwhelming amount of people who voted, but it's still 80 million who did not.
What would they do if everyone actually showed up? They'd be like, this is unprecedented. They'd be like, y'all care about this shit? Really?
For real?
Like, damn, okay, we gotta hire some more counters.
Yeah, at that point, you gotta fix some shit.
I think some shit needs to be fixed.
Anyways, right.
Yeah.
No, for sure. So, it's very interesting to watch. And we had our first Gen Z person voted into the House, which was a really big deal. He's 25. He's in Florida.
Really?
I forgot his name, but I'll link it in the show notes. So shout out to him. Congratulations. 25.
You're going to be ready for the presidency soon. Come on now.
Period. But I saw this TikTok from MSNBC, and it was all of these reporters. They were talking about him, saying how great it is and whatever. But they were also kind of belittling him. In a sense, too. I'll try to find it and link it. They were just like, this kid. Like, they called him a kid, when it's like,
25 ain't no kid.
If you're paying bills, like, you are not a child.
I don't even feel, I know we say young people are like 18 years old is like young, but you're able to go in the military. I feel like if you're able to be, what is that called? Like when you're
drafted.
If you're able to be drafted, I feel like you should be respected as an adult in society.
I think also the issue is that there's so many of these old people in Congress who keep getting voted in to where it's like this, like they will look at you at like, you're basically a child compared to these 80-year-olds that are still in Congress. Like, you know what I mean? But it's like, it was just the language they used, and I even saw it in the comments too. Everybody picked up on it, like, give this kid his respect. That kid.
Whoa.
Give this man
the respect he deserves.
Yeah, I'm saying kid because I'm like, they said kid, so like kid is on the mind. But like, give this man the respect he deserves. And he's like,
what is it, senator?
No, he's in the House of Representatives. But like, period. That's one step from a senator.
Houser the respect he deserves.
I'm so weak. But yeah, so if you are not registered to vote, still register to vote, even though we don't have any elections coming up in like the near future.
Well.
But might as well get prepared, get ready for 2024.
Yeah,
because there's rumors that Trump is running, and apparently Joe is running until further notice. So it's
gonna be a part 2.
Oh, it's gonna be a lot. All right, moving on.
True.
Okay, we got a comment on one of our TikToks.
Oh.
The one where the clip I had of you talking about how black men deserve their flowers and we should treat them with more respect while they're here.
Mm-hmm.
And a black man left a comment on the TikTok, and I'm going to read it real quick.
Okay.
It says, "Thanks, but black men as a whole need to treat black women better. Dumb and manipulative black men makes it hard for us who actually need help."
Damn. He said,
he said, "Thanks, but we are the problem."
Wow.
But
that's how we know you're different.
But also too that I think both can be true.
Yeah.
And that's what I responded back to him. I was like, period. But like, let's not categorize all black men like that, because that's another problem. It's like the one for the whole when that's not the case.
Yeah.
So I don't think he was saying like we don't deserve help, but he's like, but we've got to. I think his message was we've got to do better. We've got to do better too
on the black man side.
Right. But I think those two issues are completely different.
I feel like we help each other. So if we help, well, I don't know. I'm just thinking about like how black women are the most educated and black men are the least. True. So it's like I want to say if you help black women, you're helping black men.
But black men can help us with, our more love and like personal growth and all of those things.
That's true.
There's like, I feel like there's other areas that they fit into our life. I mean, partnership, like two people coming together.
Yeah.
You gotta, each one brings something different and special to the table.
That's true.
And you mesh it in this love, and it's lovely.
Love.
We love love.
Yeah, this chapter gets into a lot of that.
It does. A lot of love in this chapter. So thank you to the @name was DKSun0. Thank you for commenting and talking with us. If you would like us to shout out your comments on this podcast, email us at shewellread@gmail.com or leave us a comment on our YouTube, our TikTok, our Instagram, DM us, Twitter, all the things.
Yes, actually, shout out to Darnell Walker who left a comment, I believe, and subscribed to our YouTube.
Her?
Yeah.
Love to see it. Okay. Oh, shout out to Anna, my cousin Anna.
Hey, Anna.
I'm so weak. I drop Adam, my other cousin, her brother, off on Thursdays from the bus, and they happened to be there at the same time when I was dropping him off, and she was asking me, she's like, "Oh, what are you doing tonight?" And I was like, "Oh, I have my podcast recording, da-da-da-da." She's like, "Oh my gosh, I want to be on the show." And I was like, "Okay." I was like,
what you read lately?
Right. I was like, "What would you talk about?" She was like, "How much I love you." And I said, "You're hired." I immediately yeah, you can come.
That seems worthy of coming on the show.
Right. So shout out to Anna.
Oh, Anna.
And this next one's you.
Yeah. Okay. So I said last episode that I would look into ways to support kind of gun violence and like the black community after the whole Takeoff situation. R.I.P.
I think his funeral's tomorrow.
Oh, is it?
I think I've seen rumors, but I'm not sure if it's 100% true. I think it's been getting kind of washed in all of the midterm conversation, so I haven't really
heard that
for real, but I think it is tomorrow.
Oh, well, wow. Would you look at the timing?
Right.
But yeah, so I looked up and found Rocket Foundation, so rocketfoundation.org, and the family of Takeoff asks that in lieu of flowers or gifts, that donations should be made to the Rocket Foundation, which was recently established to support programs that are saving lives through proven community-based solutions to prevent gun violence.
Period.
So
love a community solution.
Yeah, I thought that was good. There's not too much information on the website, so it says they're new, so we'll see what happens. But if anyone's interested in supporting that cause,
period,
check it out.
Love to hear it.
Yeah.
Period. All right, I think that's it. So let's get into the chapter. Yeah.
Period.
When right, 2 episodes left, but we got it.
We're coming to you ready for season 4.
I
know, that was weird saying that.
That was weird. Oh, one thing before we jump in. We haven't really talked about this, but I assume this is what we're doing for next season. Kind of the same thing. Audience choice. Okay, period. Stammer just gave me the okay on that. So with that being said, if you have any book recommendations that you all want to hear us talk about and dissect on this Bite Size Book Club podcast, email us at shewellread@gmail.com or DM us on all the things that I've mentioned before. And we will have a poll, probably a Google form like we did last season. Well, last season to lead to this season to pick this book. So it'll probably be the same thing, and we'll have that linked in our show notes. We'll have it linked in our milkshake. We'll have it linked everywhere. So stay tuned for that. We will probably work on it soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. So we'll keep y'all posted is what I'm saying.
Period.
Okay. So this chapter, 4C essay. Damn. You know what? I give up.
It's
whatever comes out.
Too late.
Literally the last one.
Yeah, it's over.
Okay. 4C girl living in anything but a 4C world. The disrespect. It is very disrespectful.
Amen.
You know what's crazy?
No one talks about this shit.
No one talks about this.
So I'm glad she did.
Right. I have no idea what my hair is. Like 4C, 3B. Like I have zero clue.
She said I'm a 1A.
Well, actually, I do know I am. Like, I don't think I'm in the 3-4 region because I'm relaxed. Mm-hmm. So it's like, you know.
would be like maybe I don't know. I don't really know anything before 3.
It's like, it's 1 to 4.
Yeah, but 2 is like what? Wavy?
Yeah.
So I think you would be 1.
I think I would be 1.
Like 1. I don't know.
1 something.
It's not thin.
Right.
So I wouldn't say it's like a 1A like I said as a joke, but like maybe like a 1C or D?
I don't know.
Is there a D? There's just a 3.
I think it's ABC. Yeah.
ABC 1, 2, 3, 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Apparently that system was created in the 90s too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I thought it's like been around, but it's relatively recent.
Yeah, it's I had done some research on it because my 2 sisters are natural. Well, all of my sisters are natural, but the 2 sisters I was shopping for, they are natural, and I was looking for some hair care products for them. Mm-hmm. And I had to do the whole I made them do the water test. Do you know what that is?
Like to see how
the porosity
is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But not really. So explain it.
It's like you take a strand of your hair from like maybe a hairbrush or something and you put it in a bowl or like a cup of water and you see like where it like is it stay at level, does it sink a little, or does it go all the way to the bottom, and that'll tell you what porosity your hair is.
I've never done that. Mm-hmm. Oh my god, wow.
Right, all this stuff that I learned doing all this research. So there's a lot about natural hair I feel like that we know and we still don't know. Yeah it's very mixed. Okay, so we start off this chapter. I mean, and the whole thing is just black hair in general. Mm-hmm. And Phoebe's talking about basically how black women and black hair just rule the world and all the facets of it. And she goes in kind of to the history of our hair. Yes. And from, African traditions and cultures of like, and I only found this out in recent years of how they use their hair in like braids to like make maps, or like it was a sign of wealth, or all these other things. Like I had no idea. Or, and it's really sad, like some slave women would take their children's hair and braid it, and they'd put like rice and other grains and food into the braided into the hair, like in case they were separated at auction, like they know their child would eat or like have something to eat.
That's like a mother's love. Like, wow. Right. Like the creativity, the ingenuity to think of threading,
weaving it in.
Yeah. And it just makes me think about like us putting beads in our braids or shells in our braids, and like all of these things that are decorative stemmed from like real life stuff that was needed. Right. So it's kind of like cool to know the history.
I love history. We love history on this show.
Yeah. I actually like so in East Africa, she mentions the fact that like in some parts of Africa, they'll talk about, or they'll, like, braids will like, you can look at a woman and see what part of life she's in, or whatever it is, and how some braids are saved for like a wedding per se, or something like that. And I was just thinking about how in our culture, when you get married, there's like a traditional hairstyle that's done to the bride for the ceremony that happens, I think it's after the wedding or before. But to celebrate, they like, it's kind of like cornrows on the top, and it's like to your scalp, and then on the bottom it's just like combed out. So it's like kind of like, yeah, it's like it's like how they'll comb it out before they flat iron your hair.
So it's like fluffy.
And then it's fluffy in the back.
So it's
like
cute.
A mullet in a way. And it's so beautiful. And they'll put like gold in the hair, and like they'll put little designs in between. And growing up, it was just like so regal the way these women looked. Yeah. And they'll wear like a cape over their dress, and then the man will like have his own attire that he wears. Yeah. But it's just so beautiful how like hair in our culture means like so much, like, because you're the women who like helped you grow up will be the ones braiding your hair, and they'll be the ones doing the food, and like it's just like this community experience that it's like so full of love and, like I said, tradition
and life. Yeah,
it's like celebrating life through your hair. So I just was like, wow, that's like really fucking cool.
Yeah. And I love how she mentioned like the state of her hair is like the state of her life, which
that's real.
Relatable. That's real content. Like you can tell a Black woman like how she's doing just by her hair.
Yes, the evolution. Her hair.
Yeah. And there's actually a new hair documentary that Oprah's a part of. Chloe's a part. Chloe Bailey. Yes.
Gotta have Halle too.
I think they might. I don't know. I haven't watched it. Chica. I love Chica. I love Chica.
I do love Chica.
Tracy Ellis Ross. I was like, why can't I think of like
Pattern.
Her face?
Gotta have Tracy.
Her face was like right there, but I could not say the name. But it's on Hulu and it's called Hair Tales, and it's on my list to watch. It like just came out, I think.
Oh my god.
So, and it's just talking about Black women and hair and like all the things.
I have an idea now. Ooh. I'll tell you after.
Burr. Also, I was thinking about, there was another hair documentary called Good Hair that was in like 2009 that Chris Rock did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which it was funny because like the whole controversy of him like making fun of Jada, like the joke about Jada about her hair, and he did a whole documentary on Black women and their hair.
No, he didn't. I was about to say, I'd love to know what that one was like, because 2009 was a different time.
It was a different time. I remember watching it. I don't remember like the specifics though, but I remember it being educational. Okay. And it all stemmed from his 9-year-old daughter asking about her hair.
Aww.
And so it was a beautiful thing, but it was just kind of like the irony of the situation.
Black men.
Yeah.
Have we? It's like it's really like that comment. It's like, you're the problem.
Literally.
Not them fighting on stage.
Oh gosh.
So Will represents something even bigger than just an angry husband.
Yeah.
He's angry for every single Black woman who's gotten their hair made fun of.
I think Will just also
He's like, do you know how sensitive this is to Black women?
And the fact that she has alopecia.
I'm fighting for Black women. My mom, Willow, she literally has a song about hair, whipping hair.
Oh my gosh,
this is integral to my family and all Black.
Will also had a lot of shit.
So many, no, he didn't. He didn't.
Like,
no thought. It was no thought.
That was the problem too. There was no thought. We acting off emotion, like we were talking about last episode.
Yeah. Ooh. Those were literally shots fired, metaphorical, basically.
Metaphorically.
But they talked about those shots more than they talk about even the real shots. It was all over the world.
Sheesh. All right. So moving on.
How can we move on? Just cancel. Got it.
But she does bring up this 2019 incident that I remember watching the video.
I didn't know about this. I didn't.
How?
I don't know how I missed this one too. It's another case of me coming on the end of it, like, way.
Okay, so for those of you following along, we're on 298. And basically July of 2019 in California. No, that's not where I want it to be.
No, I think you onto something. It's a little further down, but yeah.
Okay, this was another point. I'm gonna just hop back and forth that I had made. In July of 2019, California became one of the first states to pass the Crown Act, which is basically updates the definition of race in the California Fair Employment and Housing Act and the California Education Code to be, and I quote, inclusive of traits historically associated with race, including but not limited to hair texture and protective styles. Which it's like...
I like the way they said that.
Right? It's like, yay, but the fact that this was even fucking necessary
is
ridiculous.
No, that's true. But at least they put some protections in place.
This is true. Like codifying Roe. Looking at you, Joe. But honestly, what happens in these midterms is going to define all of that. So, pray up.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's deep.
Yeah. So, we keep doing that. We're like,
well, when I just had to say that we in Alabama are not one of the states.
Yeah, we suck. Only 11 states have passed the Crown Act as of the time of
That's disappointing because I just assumed if someone, discriminated against me at work, I would be protected because I heard about the Crown Act, but I thought it was nationwide.
Oh, you thought it was a federal thing.
Yeah. I've been out here with my afro, like, what y'all supposed to do? You know what I mean? I can claim discrimination. Turns out, no.
I mean, you can claim discrimination, but it's not as protected.
Yeah.
It's the problem.
Okay.
Yes. Which leads to the incident that happened to so in 2018, a 16-year-old New Jersey high school wrestler, his name was Andrew Johnson. He was going up against a white referee who was telling him that his hair was distracting. He had locks. And basically, if he didn't do something about them, he would have to forfeit the game, which I like how Phoebe goes into like all of the emotions and thought that had to go into his decision of literally being like, fine, I'll have to cut off my hair right here and now. All the training, all the work, preparation that this young man has done. And then the fact that a white trainer on his team was the one to do the cutting with like no sense of like
PR moment.
Terrible PR moment, but also like no care in the world of how this boy is gonna look after this cut. She's just cutting and just cut, which my only sliver of like grace is that when you're like, they were probably under a clock, so she was just like, all right, if you're gonna do this, like, let's go.
But I mean,
but still,
it's like it really wasn't her fault.
It wasn't. I don't think so either. I think he made the call and she was like, all right, let's do it.
It was on the referee. I want to know where that ref is now.
I know. I want to know like what, meet me outside. But
exactly.
But yeah, so pass the Crown Act. Make it a fucking federal thing.
Come on, Joe.
Well, if they can barely get the Lynching Act passed.
It's a sad world. It is a disappointing world.
We hate it here.
Like, come on now.
Like, damn.
Are you kidding me?
It just all makes too much sense is the problem.
Nah.
She's like, I refuse.
It's just like, I think people have, like, they don't want to change things if they're already working. And, like, nobody sees it. Like, it's not, not affecting them. So, because I was at the poll, casting my ballot, and I was listening to the person next to me talking with the person they were filling it out with. It was like an older white man. And they were talking about the amendments to the Alabama Constitution.
There was like freaking 10 of them.
There was a lot, but most of them were pretty like not that crazy.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, let's change the wording so that
it's not racist anymore.
Yeah, really simple stuff. But he basically was like, no, like, I'm not changing it. Because he was like, no, I don't want to amend anything. He didn't even really take the time to read.
And that's the problem.
What it was. And maybe he did. But it wasn't worth amending the Constitution that's already in place. So I feel like sometimes people feel like they have to protect this historical document.
Which I don't, I will never understand that shit.
It's a constitution. Like, there were amendments were created so that, you know what I mean?
They can be changed.
It's a living document. Is what I always thought we were taught in school, right?
That is exactly what we were taught in
school.
It
was supposed to be changing as we changed as a country. And, like, there's just so much that I'm like, if you're going to take it to that level, like, then you should really think about it from this other perspective of, like, what if that's really where you're at, is, like, what did the forefathers want? Then they wanted it to change too. They also didn't want Democrat-Republican split. Like,
they didn't want parties.
So it's like, if we don't care about what, you know what I mean? Like, pick a side, I guess, is my thing. And so for me, it was such an easy, like, yes, change all of them.
Right.
Because they were all valid. But he's like, no. I was like, okay. I was like,
that's what makes me scared in this country. Like, that's the shit that keeps me up at night.
Yeah, so it's really interesting, and it seems like so much of what Black people deal with is really just like making themselves smaller to appease white people because they're intimidated by whether it be our hair, whether it be our bodies, whether it be whatever it is. Like, it's ghetto when it's done by us and it's shout on, and we have to, like, shave the dreads off. And we have to, like, take all of the stuff that it means to be Black away, strip it down, make ourselves, like, smaller and more digestible and more not scary to them. And it's like, is it a confidence issue? Because looking at what's going on 297, which is your people, Creole.
Hey.
No, in a good way. Y'all were taking people's mans.
Oh, well, you said y'all people. I said, whoa now.
Guess it's never okay to call people y'all people. Just a warning, even if you mean it positive.
Start with that.
In a positive way.
Positively, I'm saying. Okay, but say your point. I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay, so there was something that was passed in Louisiana, the Tignon laws. Am I saying that right? Do you know how to say that? I
have no idea.
Tignon, Tignon. Tignon.
I didn't
Tignon.
Didn't know.
It's French, I think.
I believe so.
Yeah, Creole. And yeah, so basically what was happening is that all Black women or Creole women in that part of the country were forced to wear a head wrap because they were basically becoming too pretty, too out there, dressing too nice. Like, they were almost fitting in with society too well, to the point where the men were looking at them and not the ladies that were the same skin color as them, which is, you know, normal as a human being to be attracted to other human beings.
Right. No matter what skin color you are.
Exactly. It seems simple, but that's not the case. In Louisiana, they were like, oh, hell no. Y'all not taking our men. So basically started this law, and they decided that covering their hair would be enough to, like, make them quote unquote ugly.
Knock them down a peg, basically.
Yeah, like y'all getting too cocky, so
right. Let me bring you back a little bit.
Yeah, let's let you remember where you are,
who you are, what you actually represent to us.
To us, exactly, which is
nothing.
A threat.
All of the above.
So I don't think it's nothing.
Well, I mean, like,
I think it's so much. So much.
Well, when I say nothing, I mean like you mean nothing.
Oh, but they do.
But they mean a lot.
That's
right.
Why else
That's
would
wild.
there be a law about nothing?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's so powerful, the way that our hair is and the way that it sits and the way that we've noticed it in a negative way of like, oh my God, it's too tangly and coarse and kinky.
It's too thick. Like, that's
thick and
literally
hard to
the whole
deal
reason
with.
I got a perm when I was like 9 years old was my mom was like, this is too much. and slapped a perm in my head. And it's crazy because I have an aunt who tells me all the time, she's like, I wish you would go natural because I remember what your hair looked like and it was beautiful. And
it's so sad.
It is. I have dreams of going natural again one day, but I also just don't have the patience for it right now, and it does not fit into my lifestyle.
Yeah.
So it's not one of those instances, which Phoebe, we're going to get into. She talks about how, like, loving your hair and for what it is and trying not to fit into Eurocentric views. And I know in my heart of hearts, like, that's not what I'm doing. It's literally just because, like, it's just a preference.
Yeah. I mean, you've also only ever had it in your, like, memory one way. So it would be a whole different, like,
experience.
Yeah.
It's a process
from the beginning, and it's hard. Yes.
It's an emotional process, too.
Yes, which Phoebe talks about. Not only did she write this book, but she wrote a whole nother book literally called Please Don't Touch My Hair.
Right.
Which was, I haven't read it, but
I haven't read it either.
All about her hair, natural hair, black women, I'm assuming, and how we, you know, relate to our hair, how our self-esteem comes from our hair. And,
right.
You know, I'm interested to read that now, especially because, I don't know, it's interesting. She's like, I wrote that whole book, thought I had come to this conclusion where I was like, I love my hair now. Yeah. But she's like, actually, no.
But I love the framework she gives for it, that it's an ever-changing thought and that it's always evolving.
Yeah.
And the fact that, and I actually, 305, it's a lot I'm about to say, but I feel like it all needs to be read.
Okay.
It's the whys that she talks about. And she says, why? Why don't we discuss what growth and change actually are until we're older and perhaps a bit disillusioned? Furthermore, why do we not openly share this information so others can avoid a similar fate? And why aren't we explaining to kids that working on oneself is a continual and daily recommitment to behaving differently than before? As we know, young people are capable of handling more than we think they can. Therefore, a little heads up is only fair. Because it seems real life, not resembling the fantasy, is where many of us get into trouble. We end up frustrated or self-flagellating when we revert to bad habits, as we'll inevitably do. This pattern of unmanaged expectations leads to a disappointment that could be prevented if we were taught early on that nothing's wrong with us if we don't magically undo decades of learned behavior in one try. Young people can handle hearing that, and the fact that we're too scared to give it to them straight probably says more about our PTSD from life, not 100% aligning with our dreams, wants, and desires, than it does about the fragility of youth.
Yeah. Yeah, like it seems simple. And I'm like, Phoebe, please have a kid because your kid would have figured it out. Like your kid would be blessed.
So blessed.
It's really that simple. Like,
there's really, like,
I feel like people try to give it to you straight, but they end up just either fear-mongering or just being like, everything's going to work out.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I have to tell you. So there is a new show. Shout out to Ashley and the whole team at Jamel Hill's Unbothered Network. They just dropped a new show called Sanctified.
Okay.
And it's these two black women as the hosts, and they talk about basically how purity culture fucked us as black women in a black community.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and it
that
gets
seems
into
really needed.
Yeah, and it goes into like the church, and like in the first episode, I was literally just listening to it. They have a queer woman come on the show, a black queer woman, and she talks about her experience in the church and how she was taught certain things and like being queer in the black community, period. And just all these conversations which again is why I love podcasts, because that's how we can have a lot of these conversations together as a community.
That's true.
And I think, you know, I personally have been personally victimized by purity culture.
Me too.
And it's a lot of unlearning, which is like exactly what Phoebe's talking about. So shout out to the whole team at Sanctified. Love the show.
I gotta listen.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. It's a
Spotify.
Spotify.
Still unlearning, girl.
Yeah, it's a Spotify original.
Okay,
so
Spotify.
You love to hear it.
Love that.
Right. Yeah, and she talks about her being a 4C girl herself, kind of like you were saying, and how she brings up the Michelle Obama tour again.
Yes.
And basically how Michelle, like, she was the speaker, she was the host, and Michelle had invited her to her room before, you know, the actual talk was taking place. And she was like, my hair wasn't finished, like makeup wasn't done, but the big thing was her hair wasn't finished.
Yep.
And she talks about this look that we want to give to other people when they see us, especially as Black women.
Wow.
About how not even like having your bonnet, which is a point that I made. Like there was that whole Monique controversy where she was saying like, don't go nowhere with your bonnet on, don't go to the airport with your bonnet on, and it's like that Black on Black judgment, which is what Phoebe's talking about, that we are constantly afraid of too. It's like, it be your own folks.
Yep.
And just how, and she even mentions like Michelle's from Chicago, like she doesn't care. Michelle's not Sadiddy. Like she would have been like, all right, cool, come as you are.
Like we know what it's like. She knows what black hair looks like.
Right. She's like, I know you're in the middle of getting ready for my show that you're about to interview me on.
Right.
Like, understandable.
Yeah.
But she was just so worried about that. And it wasn't until she had that thought, you know, after the book came out, Please Don't Touch My Hair. And when she had this realization, she was like, like, I'm not where I thought I was. But that's still okay.
Yeah.
So I really like that framework that she built in this essay.
I know. We're all trying, but it makes me think about like, I feel like the grass is always greener. Mm-hmm. And not to minimize anyone's struggle, but like, I don't know. No, I don't want to say that.
Okay.
Because I don't want to minimize anyone's struggle. I just feel like, you know, at the same time, everyone has bad moments with their hair.
Right.
Whether you're 4C or not, or 1A, like, we all have moments where, like, God, why can't my hair look like that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, there have been many times, and she even talks about it in the essay, that I, you know, saw YouTube style, was like, oh, that looks pretty easy. I think I can do that. Ooh. And then you do it and you're crying in the bathroom at 4 a.m. Like, it happens.
It's like such, it's so hard.
It's so hard.
I know I've struggled for sure. Like, I spent my whole growing up wanting to have straight hair and just could not understand how to do my hair. You know, I just always felt self-conscious about it. It was too big and I was trying to make it smaller, so I like had just begged and begged and begged. Finally got that relaxer. My mom was like, just go and do it, girl. Like, if you really want to do it, it's gonna make you happy. Even though she was like, I've done it and you don't need to do it.
Yeah.
But I had to do it. I learned the hard way. So of course I did it. Hated it. Liked it for a second, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it did what I wanted it to do, which was make my hair long and straight.
Right.
Ish. But it also, like, killed my hair at the same time. And, you know, I wasn't necessarily taking care of it either.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I had just never had one before, so I didn't really know how to take care of it.
Yeah.
And all that to say, it didn't look good after a year or so. And I didn't want to relax it, so I just let it grow out. So then there were several different textures in my hair.
Yeah.
And it looked really awkward, and I hated it. And so I was like, okay, I either relax it again and make it straighter, or I chop it all off now before I've damaged it too much and just start over and learn how to figure out how to love my hair.
Yeah.
So I tried that option and it was so short.
Yeah.
And I couldn't
remember.
deal with it. And that goes to show you, like, I don't know, like, why did I care so much about the length of it? Like, is it stemming from it has to be long? Like, I think there's some trauma of, like, wanting long hair because I still am like, why won't my hair grow longer? You know? And I feel like Phoebe talking about how black hair is often made to grow up, not down. And how she's got, like, the perspective of black hair growing upwards is actually really spiritual because it's going up towards, like, the heavens. And people have seen it as something beautiful.
Yeah, literally your crown.
Right. And so hearing her say that, I was like, I guess it doesn't. If it's not supposed to grow down, like, can't really force it to grow down. Like, if it's gonna just grow up and out, like, I guess that's what
Fuck
it's gonna
do.
do. And, like, that's okay. And just because I've been fed so many images of, like, beautiful, luscious, long hair, you know, there are still ways to have that, even if my hair doesn't naturally grow down.
Right.
Like, I can get a wig. I can get extensions.
Yeah, there's so many options.
Yeah. And so just being aware of the options and, like, not shitting on yourself and just being like, okay, like, my hair is beautiful regardless, but if I want this other style, how do I do it protectively? How do I do it without ruining what I already have, without shaving it off, being forced to because you hate it? You know, I think that, like, you said, grace, like, we all have to give ourselves grace.
Patience,
because wash days take,
like she says, that's a week-long marathon.
a
right
marathon.
there.
I feel like I've run a marathon every time it's done, and that's why it's never done, because I don't like running. I don't. And so, yeah, but I like that she was like, you know, 4C was often seen as an art piece.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Of, like, you can do stuff with 4C hair that no one else can do.
Right.
So, like, emphasizing our strengths. And the black hair community needs to do a much better job of emphasizing 4C's strengths.
Yeah, she literally talks about, you know, the whole natural hair movement and the natural hair community and how they have to do a better job of having good representation of 4C hair and not shitting on it. Like, black on black judgment coming from within, like, cut it out.
Yeah, there's no reason not to wear your 4C hair out if it's not done. Did that come out right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, it
I mean, just
doesn't
wear
have
your
to
hair.
be perfect. And I had to remove that too, because sometimes you feel like how we love to talk about how one black person represents all black people. If I go out in sweats, looking crazy, in a bonnet, what am I saying about black people?
Yeah.
It's not that deep.
Yeah, it's like you're feeding into the stereotype, but it's a stereotype, like it as it shouldn't be.
Yeah, it's like the fact that it's a stereotype at all is
Yeah.
wrong, and there's nothing wrong with going outside in a bonnet, in a hat, however you want.
Yeah.
As long as you're not naked, like,
Right.
really, this is the least of your concerns.
Exactly.
And the only people that honestly are going to notice are potentially the other black people who are either like, or I'm making a steak face, or, hey girl, because they don't care either.
Right.
And
right.
I think most young people do not care.
Yeah.
There are some, like, traditionalists who are still around, who they're everywhere, in Congress, out on the damn street, judging you. But at a certain point, it's just like, okay, and
Right.
you're not paying my bills.
Exactly. So,
Crazy.
woo! We went through a lot in this essay. We've circled round and round and round, but it all lands on love your hair.
Please. And be team mind your business. Wait,
Yes.
Hashtag team mind your damn business when it comes to black women's hair.
That's going to be the title of this
I like that
episode.
title. I
So-
mean, it's like very much the vibes of the book.
Yeah.
I also wanted to coin something.
Okay. I know y'all can hear her flipping through the pages. Minor interlude going on here.
Curl type intersectionality.
Where you at?
Page 326. Because it should not be like, it should not be something where 4C girls are having to defend themselves against 3C hair girls. We're one C apart or whatever, letter apart in the chart, and the chart didn't even exist until like
the 90s.
few fucking years ago.
Yeah.
So really means nothing if you want to go that far.
Right. Like, it's a label, but like use it as you will.
Yeah, like either way it's hair. And let's see, there was like a part here. Phoebe has been made to feel that she is not worthy, not valuable because of her hair. She's had it drilled into her that not being the mixed or ambiguously black and lacking the aspirational proximity to whiteness is a defect that can never be fixed. And like the fact that the natural hair girls are showcasing a certain type of hair and not all hair.
Right.
And we're having to have this next conversation. It's giving me like white feminism of like, oh, we came in and we solved the problem. Here you go. Love yourself. But you're still hiding the parts that you still feel are unsavory, which is like anti the entire movement.
Right.
So it's just like, I guess, levels to the shit.
Yeah, there's always levels to the shit. Yeah, there's always levels to it. So no, yeah, I totally agree with you. But okay, so that wraps up the book.
Oh my God.
We are going to, in the next episode, discuss the acknowledgements and what you guys can look forward to going into season 4 and just what's coming up next for She Well Read. So until then, I'm Alana.
I'm Samra.
Bye, y'all.